Hey,
ShakeandWakeRadio.com.
Hello, this is Ed Opperman. At the tone, please leave a message, and I'll get right back to you.
It's Andrew. Remember last summer at Pat's? I've got a 12-hour layover before I go to Chicago. How about it?
I staked out that guy, only it didn't work out like you said. Please call me. Room 234, County Hospital.
It's Doc Jones. What'd you do to the hand, son? 3 fractured knuckles. You hit somebody?
This is Mrs. Lindis. 3 times this month I come to clean, and it always looks like people been fighting in there. Furniture broke, things tipped over. I'm sorry, but I quit.
This is Shirley from the bank. The answers are no, no, and yes. No, we won't loan you money. No, we won't accept any cosigners. And yes, your account's overdrawn. I get off at 4:30.
Hey, Opperman, I found your business card in my wife's pocketbook, along with canceled checks made out to you. I'm going to end up losing my house, my car, my business, everything, because of you. I mean, I know I cheated on her and all, but, you know, mind your own business.
And now, America's most beloved private investigator, Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I am your beloved host, private investigator Ed Opperman. Okay, and this show is brought to you by Audible.com. You go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report. You go there and you get yourself a free audio book. So we're live here tonight on Thursday night. Normally we're live on Friday nights. Go to TalkStreamLive.com on Friday nights, and you look for my face there. You click on the handsomest guy you see on the screen, and then you can hear the show. But tonight we are on Shake and Wake.
And you can join us in the chat room at ShakeandWakeRadio.com and take it away, Ed.
Oh, thank you, Rick. Like I was about to say, you can join us in the chat room on ShakeandWakeRadio.com with good old Rick and Annie here on Thursday nights. Normally we're here Thursday nights recorded. But tonight we are live, and we're live here with our guest, Mark Schwartz from TruthFunders.com. So just going to get a little, I'm going to be talking about my program, my campaign with TruthFunders, and then we have a couple of guests coming on as well that Mark is promoting on their TruthFunders account. Let's see, okay. So let's just get started. We'll get started here with, a couple of things. I want to give a shout out to my daughter Victoria. She's at her Valentine's Day dance out there tonight at school at Coral Academy. And I'm so proud of this kid. You have no idea. She wrote this personal essay. And when the teacher read it, she was so excited that she contacted Victoria. And she said she's going to publish it in some kind of website or magazine or something like that. She's going to publish this little essay that Victoria wrote. So she is, a lot of people know her from the radio show and stuff like that. But she really is a very talented writer as well. Hey, by the way, later on in the show, after we're done with all this TruthFunders stuff, we're going to have a guest come on named Reina Palone Madero. And she's going to be talking about a group called NativeCry.org. And it's about Native Americans and the issues that they face. And it's really basically a suicide hotline for Native Americans. And we'll be talking to them at about 8:30. We'll be getting a hold of them. Coming up on tomorrow's show, we got Reverend Pinckney, and he's going to be calling us up from prison and giving us an update on his case. As you know, a lot of people keep keeping up with the Reverend Pinckney situation. He's gotten 2.5 to 10 years in prison. He's probably going to be in there for 7 years. The guy's 67 years old. He's devoted his life to activism, to struggling for economic justice. He was just recently convicted just a few months ago. And the charges against him are that he had a clipboard and he was taking recall signatures to recall the mayor over there in Michigan. And some of the signatures did not match up. The dates were wrong. It was the wrong kind of pen. They looked like forgeries or whatever. So he was prosecuted for forgery of basically 4 signatures on a mayoral recall petition, and convicted with no evidence, with all kinds of problems with this jury too. The jury knew some of the prosecutors and knew some people involved in the litigation, and but he was convicted, and they've given this man 67 years old, and they're convicting him, and he's in prison right now, 15 hours away from his home. His wife can't even visit him in prison. And 67 years old, and he's going to be in there for about 7 years, basically for taking down signatures on a petition. So God bless him, and we'll be talking to him tomorrow. Then we have Judith Reisman is going to be talking about the Kinsey report, and you wouldn't believe all the stuff going on with the Kinsey report. And this Dr. Kinsey is basically a child molester and a sex offender, and we're going to be talking all about that tomorrow night. Okay, great. So, but tonight we have with us good old Mark Schwartz. My friend Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good to hear your voice, and wow, that's some interesting stuff that you got going on. Especially, listening to you talk about that case and going to jail for petitions and signing. That's insane.
I know, man. Mark, I don't know if you've been, following the show lately, but I've been doing a lot of shows. Last night I was on Clyde Lewis, Ground Zero Radio. Yeah, I was on it for 2 hours last night. And we were talking about the case of Jeffrey Epstein. This is a billionaire actually, down in Florida, who was molesting 3 little girls every day. He was having the witnesses. We got witnesses of his butler is bringing 3 little girls to his home every day to molest these little girls. And this guy got 13 months. He got 13 months on a private wing where he donated $90,000 to the sheriff's department. They put him in a private wing. He was the only prisoner in this jail, in this wing. Only had to serve this 13. Oh, you have no idea, brother. Disturbing. Those 13 months, he only had to spend the whole day there on Sundays. 6 days a week, he only had to sleep in jail. While he's in there, couldn't keep his hands off himself. We have his commissary report. I got a hold of his commissary records. He's buying Jergens hand lotion and Vaseline. He couldn't keep. This guy is a threat to every neighbor, every child in America. He has his own private jet, flies all over the place with President Clinton in tow with him. Okay, and here's this guy here, man. If you're living next door to him in Palm Beach or Manhattan or New Mexico where he has homes, and you Google your zip code to find out if there's any registered sex offenders in your neighborhood, he doesn't even turn up because he gives his address down in the Virgin Islands. But
yeah, I have no idea how to respond to that. That's just sounds awful.
Well, at least Reverend Pinckney's off the street though, because he might get another signature that's wrong.
Right, of course, of course. Man, yeah, this world we live in, it's crazy. There's so many things that I could gripe about. Specifically, I don't know. It's disturbing. It's disturbing hearing all that, and it's, out there, and it's the truth, and you have to be careful. Everybody has to be careful these days with who they associate themselves with, and what's going on. Have an eye open. It's twisted, and thank goodness there's people that want to bring, truth to light and at least give the victims a voice, and that's great, and so we all appreciate your service there for sure. Senor Opperman.
Thanks a lot. But I was saying, I did another interview during the week with Kira Young on People's Internet Radio, and I was yelling about Reverend Pinckney, man. I was so pissed off about it,
Yeah, well, it's crazy.
And I says, you know what, man, 10 years from now, I could be in prison doing 10 years. Just like Reverend Pinckney, And everyone kind of laughs about it. Yeah, but really, man, the hammer's coming down on all this. But now here you got hope for us, okay? Because you got this organization that's trying to raise money for projects to bring out the truth. So why don't you tell us what Truth Funders is?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, kind of along the lines of I guess things happening. There is this divide happening between the upper class and the lower class, and there is no middle class anymore. It seems that no matter what I do or how hard I work, I don't have any money. And I feel that everyone that I talk to out there is in the same boat. Really, it's people are working extremely hard and working harder than ever, carrying one job, carrying two jobs, and it's hard for us to do hobbies or to bring things to light. And something I think is that one of the reasons it is that way is because if we're so busy working and so busy trying to just get by, then we don't have time to focus on, some of the topics that you're talking about, some of the topics that are mysteries of the world that people are trying to get to the bottom of. Who has time to or money to spend looking for anything of the paranormal or discover anything, of the truth, like you do, advocating the truth and trying to create documentaries. Who has time or money to do that because we're so busy working and being kept down? So Truth Funders was this idea that came from, as I work all day, one of the things that sort of helps me get by is listening to podcasts, and I work a ton. So I really love the paranormal. I really love the ideas that I hear. And some of the stuff is totally kooky and out there and bizarre, and other stuff is really thought-provoking and extremely interesting, and there's science and data behind it. But I wanted to know sort of what is the truth and what is going on. And what I constantly heard on all of these shows, show after show, was the guests saying, oh yeah, well, we would be able to figure out, if this is really Bigfoot's, like handprint or hair, but we need to do a DNA test and we don't have the money for that. Or, we would love to do a documentary on this incredible topic, and show, that justice is being served, or trying to bring the truth out, but we don't have the money to do that, or the time to do that, because time is money and money is time. And I heard this on show after show after show. Literally, I listened to like 6 shows in a row one time, and everybody was saying, oh, we just need money. So I thought, you know what? Why isn't there a community out there for the paranormal, or for people who think outside the box, people who are trying to get to the bottom of things, answer questions that aren't the norm, and a place where those projects can be showcased. People can create projects there, and then they can reach out to their friends or the paranormal world or the truth world, because there is like sort of a truth seeker world out there, and people who are into that can donate to it. And here's the thing, is that a lot of these other big crowdfunding platforms, they take this truth stuff and they take this paranormal stuff and they kick it to the bottom. I was just talking to Jesse Marcel today, in fact, and he was saying that he's trying to create and get funded this flying car, and he put it up on Indiegogo. So anybody who's out there, go ahead and check out his project on Indiegogo. But he's having trouble getting funding for it. And he is, on Ancient Aliens. He's well known. But Indiegogo hasn't shared it with the world. They keep it kind of locked up because it's a strange idea. It's different.
Wait a second. Who is Jesse Marcelli? Is he the guy, it was in a UFO?
Yes. Well, I can't tell you too much of his story, like it would have to come from him, but his dad was involved with, Roswell. And so he's, Jesse Marcel Jr. And yeah.
Okay, I know who you're talking about, right. Right, he was at the Roswell, and they own the farm there. I was confused with Travis Walton, the guy who went up in the UFO in Arizona.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's great. I enjoy every time I listen to him on any show. And that was actually a really pivotal moment. I was 13 years old when that movie came out. I went to go see it in the movie theater, and it blew my mind away. It freaked me out, and I was always into the paranormal and aliens and ghosts and things of that nature when I was younger, even before that. But Fire in the Sky sealed the deal. Probably between Whitley Strieber's Communion, I read that when I was 9 years old, and Fire in the Sky, I was I was totally into it. And my father is a scientist, so I always look at things from a scientific perspective and try to say, is that real? Is that not? And that was sort of, what Truth Hunters is about as well. Is, it's people who are trying to research this stuff or create something around it, because the idea of just spreading the idea of the paranormal is a cool idea. It gets people to change the way they think, to look at things from a different perspective. We're so programmed from elementary school on to, Columbus sailed the seas and he discovered America, and we learn everything and it's just like that. And hopefully, along the lines you have a history teacher that tells you that's not the way history was, and to always question the truth. But some people aren't lucky enough to get that teacher to have them start thinking in a different way. And so it's, I hope that Truth Funders and the people who create projects on Truth Funders help to inspire others to look at things from another direction. And another thing about it is it's not a scary site. If you go to www.truthfunders.com, you'll see the website is very friendly and it's inviting, because I didn't want to have it just be for the paranormal. I wanted people who are not into the paranormal to look at some of these projects and feel like it's okay for them to click around and look at it and donate to it. And it's not scary. It's not a scary world. It's just, a different way of thinking. So that was sort of the basis. And I think a lot of people out there, I don't know if people generally know what crowdfunding is, but if I can back up for a second, crowdfunding is you have an idea and you put it up on, Truth Funders or a Kickstarter or a Indiegogo, and you reach out to people and you say, please donate. There's different reward levels. So donate $5 or $10 or $25 or $100, and in return for your donation, you receive something. What you receive could be, if it's a documentary, it could be your name in the credits of the movie. If it's a science fiction movie, it could be, you being in the movie itself. It could be anything from, and you'll hear, we're having Spaceboy, will be on Spaceboy Music. He created a project on Truth Funders, and it's actually halfway funded at this point. And he wanted to spread the idea of Truth Funders, so he created a song. And if you donate $5, you get this digital download song. And you also get to know a little bit about him and his music, it's been really cool. And I'll let him talk about that a little bit more. But, so yeah, what Truth Funders is a place where people who love all of that stuff in the paranormal will look to help donate, to help fund, or if they have a project, they could go there and they could create it and ask for funding. Generally on those bigger sites, people aren't looking for truth anything or paranormal anything. They're just looking for the latest invention to potentially invest in. So my goal is that we create a community here. Other radio show hosts will visit the website and say, hey, that's a cool project that guy's making. I want him on my show. Help get these people more marketing. We market the heck out of people's projects. And yeah, that's sort of the general gist of it. And I just talked for about 15 minutes. So I would love to talk about your project. And if you want to talk a little bit about what you're doing too, Ed, I'd love to spitball that with you.
Well, before we get to that, I remember when we first started doing the campaign, like people would email you, and then you would pretty much do the campaign for them. Are you still doing that, or now is it self-service?
Yeah. So we're still doing that, and I'm finding that that's really the best way to go, because there's two kinds of people. There's the people that create a campaign and then just leave it there, and then there's the people that create a campaign and market the heck out of it. And those people that are marketing the heck out of it, I mean, it's making a difference. It's actually happening. Their projects is making money. And it's not easy. I mean, you have to Facebook a couple times a day. You got to tweet a couple times a day. You got to, send stuff out to your mailing list, or create a mailing list if you don't have it, and reach out to people. Check out different websites. Let them know what you're doing. It takes a lot, but you're asking people for money. And in this world of nobody has any money, asking $5 for someone, it's really not a lot. It's a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and it really means a lot to the person, and you get something in return. But you have to get the word out there. If you can create a project, you can create the best project in the world, but if you don't make noise about it, it'll sit there. And it could be the best idea ever. I mean, there might be a website out there that blows everything out of the water and has the answers to everything, but they don't market it or show it to the world. And if nobody knows it exists, then you can't get to it. So that's what we're trying to do at Truth Funders too, is we've been sort of vetting people that have been coming in, and we're trying now to vet, so we have people who are really gung-ho and really passionate about the projects and want to move their stuff forward. Come mid-March, everything will be automated. But I really like the aspect right now of reaching out to the people and helping them. A lot of times people don't know what's happening with how this works, and so I'm able to work with them one-on-one, or Katie, we have a small team, and one of us works with people one-on-one to try to make their project the best it can be.
How many campaigns do you have going right now?
I think we have about 15. We launched last month, so it was the very, very end of December, early January is when we launched. And now we are approaching mid-February almost. So we've been up for about a month and a half. We've had over 5,500 visits to the site. And we are starting, it's getting to the point now where donations are starting to come in every day. It took a little while to get there. But I think as time progresses over the next year or two, there's going to be a lot more attention paid to this, and a lot more people will find out about it. We've been spreading the word. We've been on different radio shows, from Jimmy Church to Restricted Airspace to your show, Lori and Fenton's show. We're just trying to get out there and let people know that we're here, because there's some great ideas that people have, and they've been sending them our way, and we're adding them. If it's a viable project, then it's great. Every once in a while, I get an email. It says something like, "I see aliens. I have videos of them," and that's it. It doesn't tell me anything about the project, like they want to create something, or they want to make a documentary, or make a movie, or make a tissue box that has an alien cozy. It's nothing like that. It's just like a random line. And that's fantastic. I'm really happy for this person that they're able to see aliens. It's really intriguing, but I can't help them because I don't know what that project is. So people have to sort of know what they want to do and have it in their head. Like you have a complete idea, and your idea is to make these documentaries that a lot of get a different side of the documentary, interview new people that haven't, or new information that hasn't come to light yet, and put together some really cool shows. And people who listen to you would just absolutely love this. And in order to, make it happen, they need to support. So you have tons of rewards too, which are really cool. And, you can talk more about that. I would love to talk to you about that.
We are trying to raise a lot of money. Okay. And I'm the first to admit that. We're trying to raise a lot of money to really get this thing off the ground. And we want to form a full-blown video production company, a documentary production company. And I have all these big topics that we can cover because I've made friends with the people involved. They respect me. I've interviewed them already. We have contacts inside. Like coming up, I'm going to be I interviewed Catherine McDonald, the wife of Jeffrey McDonald. I'm going to be interviewing Jeffrey McDonald from prison. They've already done several proven documentaries and TV stories about the Jeffrey McDonald case. This is the story down in Fort Bragg where his family was murdered by this hippie cult that came in. So this is a proven market that people are interested in this topic. And I'm right in there with the principals. So all we need is, and I've done this kind of thing before. I was on a 2-part episode of Dr. Drew. And I produced the whole thing, man. I set up the locations. I coordinated the film crew. I casted the whole thing. And it was the most popular episode of Dr. Drew. They replayed it 100 times.
So I know. What would be your favorite documentary to film first? Like if your own personal, what you feel close to, what really gets you juiced, what documentary would that be?
See, the thing is, the one I want to do is the West Memphis 3, obviously. Because, again, that's another proven topic with a market there. There's a built-in market of people that want to discuss that case. They want to view that case. But the only shows out there, the only documentaries out there have all been the side of, hey, these kids were railroaded, these kids are really innocent, and they were wrongly convicted and all of that. When every bit of information I have is that they got the right killers in this case. So one of the things I really would like to do is, because dealing with this case, I've been dealing with this since 1997, and I've been dealing with these lunatic fans of these child killers in the West Memphis 3 case, is that so many of these supporters, they call themselves, are basically just stalkers. And now they're stalking the family members of the victims. They stalk authors who write books about it, people like myself, radio show hosts who do shows about it. I had on my show Diane Diamond. I had William Ramsey. I had Pat Brown, the criminal profiler. And every time you bring up the West Memphis 3 case, the first thing you hear is, because this group of supporters are fanatical. And I would really like to do...
Hey, Ed?
Yeah.
Forgive me for interrupting.
It's a really scary...
If you could do a documentary, and you know what, if we had a ton of money to do a documentary together, right, with people like our buddy there from Laurel Canyon, Annie, I'm drawing a blank here, David McGowan and Fritz Springmeyer and lots of great people like that, it would be how you have been mind controlled by Luciferians who control this entire planet, and you need to break out of that mind control. Because when I had David on after you did, but like what David McGowan and people like Fritz Springmeyer have to say, I know what you're saying about the West Memphis thing, and it's the Satanists there that are trying to clear their buddies and people involved in that stuff. But, like, I really think that your approach and my approach has been very similar to keep it lighthearted and make it fun for people to learn the truth. And I think if we could just show people how the mainstream has mind-controlled you, and that to bring out the fact to people that Luciferians do control this entire money system, the courts, media, Hollywood, music. Wow, that could really snap people out, and I'm going to shut up now. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Right.
Because we both interviewed the same people for the most part, and I really respect, you know, you and I have been good buddies. We hit it off, and I really think people need to go to the top of the pyramid and to just focus on one case or one situation. I really think they need to know that the TV news is lying, the government's lying, the banks are liars, everybody's a liar. You need to break out of the mind control Hollywood television news crap. And the politicians are never going to tell you the truth. And we need to take back our country. Like you said a month ago.
Okay, Rick.
Yeah.
Okay, you talk about this all day long. Okay, let me just do the show. Okay, man. All right. Thank you, brother. Okay, thank you, Rick, from Shake and Wake Radio there. Rick Champagne is his name. Okay, and thank you very much, Rick. But what I was saying, okay, and you're right, Rick. We can do stuff like that too. But I have kind of a plan here of what I'm trying to do. And one topic would be that this West Memphis 3 group, and there's a side to this where these fanatical fans of these child killers, in this case, have become so obsessive, and also too that they're the alternate theories of who committed this murder is so bizarre and so ludicrous and so far-fetched that just getting these guys on tape, giving their side of the story, just in a fair, balanced presentation, would be, first we present what the real facts are, and then we let these excusers come on and present their case. And I'm telling you, man, it would bring out the truth in the case, one, and it would really be entertaining as well. On the other hand,
well, there's been HBO movies made about it. There's been all sorts of stuff, and the medium that you are trying to deliver it in is streaming video, which is really cool, and it means that people who donate to your what you're trying to do would be the first ones to receive the documentaries above anybody else, which would be worth the donation. If you're gonna watch a movie, I mean, that there's a built-in audience for that.
The first $20, the $20 donation is gonna get you a free CD, a free copy of the movie, which is the cost of the movie anyway. We're gonna sell for $20 anyway up on Amazon. But also too, we're also, I'm on the Internet Movie Database, imdb.com. I'm already on there, so we can definitely get this production on there. So anybody who wants to contribute to this and be involved in this project, you'll get, and you want to have a future in media or showbiz, you might call it, okay, or entertainment. We can guarantee you your own IMDb page and your own contribution, a director's contribution credit. A producer's credit, by funding the movie, you get a producer's credit, a real producer's credit. You can be a real movie producer, and have that on your resume. You can get in on the ground floor on this kind of thing, because there's a lot of people that spend their whole life trying to get on IMDb, because they want to get work in the media, in the entertainment field.
Absolutely. And that's one of the great things, that you can offer. It can be something as simple as a credit, like a thank you, or, you also have, for people who donate a lot of money, executive producer credit. And executive producer credit for something, so let's say your documentary takes off. And it's like viral, and people are downloading it, and people are watching it, and it's known as like one of the top movies in that genre. If you were lucky enough to donate to it and be a part of it, I mean, that's bragging rights right there, and you get to use that in your resume that you were a part of it. And you were the producer, and there's other, once people know that you're part of you produced a successful movie or a successful documentary, then that opens the door for you to produce other successful endeavors.
That is so true. Yeah, if you get an executive producer credit on a successful project, people are going to be coming to you with projects for the rest of your life. Okay, because they're going to see it at the end of the video.
Right.
They'll be coming forever, you know?
I was nominated for an Emmy in 2010, a Primetime Interactive Media Emmy. It was one of the first years that they did Primetime Interactive Media. And I created an application that was video. It was a mesh between, video and social media and new technology that we were working on. And it was really cool. I mean, it was a really hard project, and at the same time, it was really neat making it, and it got successful, and it wound up getting me nominated. And of course, I lost to Star Wars, but everyone would always lose to Star Wars because Star Wars is amazing.
What is that? Star what?
Never heard of that before.
I never heard of it.
But that opened doors. That opened so many doors for me to start. I wound up working for a lot of different companies, doing a lot of different sort of interactive media, and so that's where my background stemmed. And when I developed Truth Funders, I brought that with me, and I brought some of those people with me too to help get it going. I mean, to have over 5,000 people visit your website the first month that you're on, I mean, that's not small. It's not huge. It's not amazing. We're not, number one on the Alexa ratings for websites. But that's very significant, and that shows that, we are pushing it. And if that's just the first month, what's going to happen a year from now? What's going to happen 2 years from now? People will just continue to know about it. People will continue to create projects, and hopefully people will continue to donate. And with your project in particular, you're well known, you're established. People who donate to you will get their reward. I mean, that's the way it's going to go. So it's really cool. I mean, and I feel honored that you are a part of this and that you're helping, the movement of Truth Funders. And it's a lot of it is the paranormal. And then there's conspiracy theories on there that people are trying to prove or make documentaries about. All of that is in the same sphere. It's just about looking at things from a different angle and not just taking in, oh yeah, that's what I was told, so that's the way it is. It's about exploring, and you could be right, you could be wrong. People might want to explore something and then find out that, oh, you know what? This isn't, this is just a natural occurrence. It's nothing weird or paranormal, but you, in doing that, you discover the truth and you let people know that so that people are not fooled. Or you discover it is paranormal. And what do they say? That, it only takes us, it takes us like once to prove that it really exists. I can't think of the exact terms. Someone told it to me today, this great little saying, which I can't remember right now, but, it's a different element, and it's really cool. And people who come to this site are coming here because they are looking for something different. But at the same time, like I said, it's not a scary site. It won't scare people away. It's meant for, the masses, so people can feel comfortable and donate to something that might be, uncomfortable, to talk about or to learn about. And that goes.
And it's still small enough that you can get in on the ground floor, and you can have the attention of the founders of the company. So I think it's a great time to get involved. Just like you were saying, we're going to start bringing on your friends here. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. And one last thing I would say before we bring them on is that if you listen to Ed Opperman, if you like him, think about all the hours of entertainment that he's brought you. He has his shows. If you tune in all the time, just a little support, like, whether it's $20 or $5, just think about you're paying $5 for the hours that you've heard him on the radio, the hundreds of hours, the catalog of time that you've spent listening. if you pay $150 a month for cable every month, what's $5 to something that you really, really like, and can help propel and make it go forward. And if you really look at your pocketbook and you say to yourself, I want to support this community, I want to support Ed, but I can't afford $5. I just can't. I'm in a place where I can't do it. Then you still can do something about it. You can still go to the website and you can share his link. You could share his project, because by sharing it and share it multiple times, you don't just have to sit there and do it once. You can, every day things change on Facebook and Twitter and no one looks at the previous day. So, just if you can't do that, if you can't spend $5, share it, because if your friends listen to it or look at it, at the off chance that they see it, they might be willing to donate, and it spreads the word. So that's my I'll come down from my pedestal right there. I'll stop talking, but I just think it's really important for people to know that they can make a difference. They can get people to pay attention, and they can, help you raise that money to make this happen.
It's funny. You said pedestal, One time my daughter was driving to Disneyland with some friends of hers and their mother. And I says, where are you right now? She goes, we're passing Barstool. Barstow. I know, you're passing the Barstool? Okay, let's put the mother on the phone right now. Yeah. But, dude, I so agree with you. People, we get so many compliments over the show this live show that we do every week, okay, on Friday nights. If we could just get some production going and do some editing and some video, we can be putting out the kind of quality that people seem to be appreciating. And everyone says, hey, Ed, man, you should go research this case. I was ranting and raving about Jeffrey Epstein earlier before. I put in a good 25 hours, man, just reading the court documents on that case just to do a 2-hour live broadcast a couple of weeks ago. Now, I got the information. I got the contacts. I'm in contact with these people already. We can do these thorough documentaries, nice and calm and well-paced, and well-researched, authentic stuff. I think everybody trusts me who listens to the show. And we can do this. All we need is the money to do it and the time to do it. That's the only missing ingredient. So this is the way. If you want this kind of stuff, and I hear it all day long. Hey, Ed, you should do this. Hey, Ed, you should do that. Hey, Ed, you should do this. We want to do that. We just need a little bit of funding.
Yeah.
A little $20, yeah.
Exactly. What's $20? What's $5? One time for someone to do that, especially if they love your content. If everyone who listened to your show donated $5, then they would be getting even more, because they would be getting, the documentaries. They would, and you would be funded, and it wouldn't be an issue. And so that's what Truth Funders is here for. And really what we want to do, we want to spread the word. And this might take a while, and it might take some hard work, but the people out there, they can do it. Like I said, share it every day on social media, or share it once on social media, and then, once it comes around and you have $5, donate to it and make it happen. And it's in our power. Everything on this earth, we have the power to make a difference. We have the power to make change. And this is one site where you can truly make a difference for specific things that you want. Whether you want to create that difference and make a project, or whether you want to help donate to a particular cause and make that cause happen. You have that power.
Now, who are we bringing on first? Eric Williams?
Yeah, Eric.
Let's pull him in. Okay. One ring-a-dingy. Hey, Eric.
Hi.
Eric, are you there? How are you, man?
I'm here. How are you doing?
Okay,
Mark?
Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's a little. I'm in Maryland. It's a little cold. Cold and windy here.
I'm by the beach in California, and it's about 60 degrees.
Right now it's 16 here.
Wow.
That's pretty cold, yeah.
So,
Eric, we're live on the air right now. We've already gotten started. We've had Mark on. Yeah, we had Mark on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I've been listening.
You've been okay, great. Okay, so then why don't you tell us about what you have going on?
Well, my project, I'm a psychologist and I'm a full-time psych professor, and my project is on ESP, and it comes from two overlapping interests. One is radio. I mean, I don't even watch TV. I love radio, and I'm a ham radio operator. And then the other is the neurological or biological basis of behavior. Our brains, like radios, oscillate. As a ham radio operator, I can transmit 1,500 watts and talk around the world, but what our brain does barely gets past our skull. So I'm looking for variables that might increase the chance that people could transmit images to each other. And so what I'm using are you familiar with Zener cards? They have typically they have like one has a square, one has a circle, one has wavy lines. It looks like frying bacon. And you have
like in that movie Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a control group of people randomly matched in groups and see how they do. And we would expect 20% just by chance in accuracy rate since there's 5 cards. And then I'm going to have a second group that are very closely matched by personality type. I'm going to use the Myers-Briggs and then also an interview and see if there's differences between the two groups. If we get some good results within groups, then we'll repeat. We'll repeat a total of 3 times because that's what they want in the hard sciences. They want validity, which means you're measuring what you're supposed to measure, and reliability, that you keep getting the same answer. And in my field, psychology, which is, of all the sciences, you think that they would embrace this the most. I was doing a little research while listening to your show. There isn't a single accredited program left in the United States that has a degree in paranormal psychology. So there are 2 labs within accredited schools, but you can't get a degree in it anymore. Yeah, and it's a shame because, if you think about this, 500 years ago, wouldn't radio have been considered paranormal? If you tried to explain talking and someone would hear you on the other side of the world, wouldn't they have thought that was like paranormal, almost satanic? But now it's just normal. So I think what happens is that eventually we figure out things, and then the paranormal becomes normal, and we move on to something else. So I'm trying to bring more science into it.
Yeah, and you're not even trying to raise that much money either, are you?
No, I don't need. It's a pretty modest project. I need a lot of sets of Zener cards, and what I'd like to have, if I raise enough money, is a high-speed camera, because I'd like to look and see if on people's faces if there's any micro expressions or anything like that, or I don't know. It'd just be interesting when you play it back to see what happens.
No, that's interesting too. You mentioned that because now when the couples that know each other, right?
Well,
are they going to be facing each other, looking at each other when they're doing this?
There's several modalities. In some experiments, they're in different rooms, but I'm going to have them in my experiment face each other. Now they will not. I will not use couples who know each other, because couples who know each other have a lot of unconscious ways of communicating that they're not even aware of. So these will be people that don't know each other.
Okay, see, now I assumed, when I saw this, it says, can personalities similarity affect ESP? I thought it was going to be people who knew each other and had similar personalities because they were dating or got along with each other.
No,
but now how are you going to control that? Yeah.
Something like that up, then what would happen by the people who looked at the articles, they would say they were communicating through other modalities. So you can't say it was ESP. So you really have to control for that variable by saying they didn't know each other. So
now how are you going to find people who have the same personality? What kind of criteria are you using for that?
I'm going to use the Myers-Briggs personality inventory, which is not only is it the most studied and the most reliable, but it's one of the most studied and reliable instruments in our field. And I'll have them take that, and not only do you get the 4-letter score like INFP, but you also get a preference score. let's say on the introverted extroverted scale, someone could be extroverted, so they would have an E. But an E plus 5 is someone who's mildly extroverted. An E plus 50 is someone who's extremely extroverted. So there's actually 2 levels of this. I'll match them by personality type and also by their preference scores. That'll be the most time-consuming part. Is I'd like to find 15 couples, meaning 15, sets that are very closely matched. And then I'll randomly, from another group, just pick 15 sets of people without doing anything, and that'll be my control group.
Now, what are you going to do? Like, put an ad in the paper and offer them $10 to come in and take the test?
I'm going to use my students, but I don't even use the school's name because the schools just really aren't into this. But I can call it a project, a demonstration. I have 206 students this semester. I can borrow from other professor students. And the students, by the way, the young people are very interested in paranormal. They're extremely interested in paranormal. But something seems to happen between being young and getting a little older and getting your degrees, and it goes from interest to eye rolling.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on the show in particular. It's because you are a real professor. You teach psychology. You are taking this seriously. And I think that a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of their reputation. And it's totally understandable that you are doing it separately from your school because, like you said, the schools have decided, oh, well, we're not going to teach that.
Right.
And what schools teach, I had this conversation with a friend of mine this weekend. I wish schools taught differently. Even elementary schools, I wish they taught me how to balance a checkbook properly instead of, algebra or trigonometry that I've never used before. But, they could have taught life lessons and things that are out there, like what happens with interest on a credit card.
Proponent of they should start career counseling with kids in middle schools. I mean, I think that more than half the people I know are doing jobs they don't like because they put very little thought into what they were doing for a living. I would get up and go teach for free if I won the lottery tomorrow. I love this, and getting paid seems like a bonus.
Yeah, and so with what you're doing with Truth Funders, and if people listening go to truthfunders.com, they can check out Eric's project. It's on the very front page, and it's I think the lower left-hand side of the front page. He's already raised. He's only trying to raise $1,200. Like this is a test that could prove a lot by a serious professor and. It's so simple and it's so easy. $1,200 is not a lot of money, but it's something that we need money in order to run these type of tests. It's just like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, a lot of these colleges they won't provide it or
No.
It's up to us. It's up to us to really make a difference and to reach out to people. So what are some of the rewards that you're offering? Because those are really cool.
I'm trying to think from memory. At $5 you get included in anything if something gets written up. Also, at one level, you get a set of Zener cards. At another level, you get a T-shirt. I'm having some T-shirts made up. And then at another level, I'll call you and we'll talk on the phone and exchange ideas. If someone's donating at that level, I think they probably have a very high interest in, and maybe I would learn something.
Yeah, I got it right in front of me. It's $5, and you get your name in the study.
Yeah.
So $10, you get a personalized letter from the professor here. $25 to get your own Xeno card. So I'm sure that you maybe get
that's
the Ghostbusters
cool.
guys
Like,
to autograph.
imagine that's like a fun party game, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Like you have a whole bunch of friends over and you have the Xener cards there, and you guys try to, figure out what's going on, or you come up with your own game to try to test your own ESP or your own psychic awareness. I mean, how cool is that? You'd be paying that anyways. Why wouldn't you pay that, get the cards, and be helping a study? I mean, it's just
get your name in there.
And as Mark said earlier, you can't just plop your project on Truth Funders and then come back in 30 days and see how you did. You do have to, I tweet. I do 5 or 10 tweets a day. I do on Facebook. I try some mailing lists, and Mark talks to me at least every other day and says, try this, try this, try this. So I have sort of a mentor in Mark in helping me to market. It's a modest project. I'm happy so far. And I understand for a brand new website, it's really doing well.
And you've raised, I think it's been up now for 2 weeks, and you've raised $180. Mm-hmm. And it really takes time. I mean, it does take effort, but nothing in this world is free. And it's not a handout. When people are donating to you, I mean, this goes to more work. You're going to be working hard, just like Ed. When people donate to his project, and once it comes to fruition, he's going to be working hard to produce the content. Yes. And what that does is it opens the doors to the next project. If this works, if Eric proves what he needs to prove, then that can be written up, and maybe one day, it'll lead to a paranormal class being taught or being offered again at colleges. If it doesn't work, it's at least still
a small part of a chapter in the textbook, so we still get to talk about it a little bit.
Right.
And by the way, Space Boy, I contributed to his thing, and I got the download thing, and the song is really cool. I mean, it really sounds like something done by someone that's uber famous. It's just the guy's talent is just amazing.
Yeah, and I can't wait to talk to him. I think he's on deck as well. He's an example too of every day he's tweeting. He's sharing it, and it's getting outside the box. So you put these projects up, and if you tweet to other radio show hosts, if you tweet to anyone in that genre, it's researching websites and saying, hey, I have a project. Maybe you guys want to share my project on your website, or there's a lot that goes with this, and so we definitely are looking for serious people that want to do it. But so much can come out of it, and it's just so exciting. It's so exciting to hear.
And sometimes it's surprising what works. I just, for the hell of it, sent Jimmy Church an email saying, would you mention my project on the air? And I thought I had about a 0% chance of that because his show is busy. But he opened the show and he mentioned my name on my project. So, almost anything is worth trying.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's so true, man. That's how I got hooked up with the Tiger Woods case. I sent him an email. I said, hey, if you need any cell phone forensics, give me a call. And next thing I know, I was in the middle of the whole thing. I was doing all the phones in the Tiger Woods infidelity scandal a couple of years ago.
Oh, that is so cool.
That's so great. And you have to do that.
There's a case study.
And that's what it's all about, on both sides of the spectrum, and it's for the people who are passionate and who have the idea and need to get that idea funded and get that idea out there. And then there's the other side. There's the people who might not have the idea, but who truly care and who want to care. lot of people out there that listen to shows or think, television should be free, the radio should be free, everything should be free. The truth is that you guys are giving your all. Eric, you're giving your all working as a teacher, trying to get this study going. Ed, you're on the radio, man. You're working all the time. Whether it's with your radio show or with your agency, it's not a handout. It's a come on. It's a community. It's together we can do this. And there's no excuse for anybody to not contribute, because it's so many ways we can help people in the world. And at least it's going to a place that it's going to a place that you believe in. It's not that $5 isn't just going to that guy at Starbucks, the master CEO of some corporation. It's going to somebody that you listen to and provides you entertainment and provides you reality checks and provides education. And those things are worth paying for. And we have to.
We can produce a better quality product. If people are interested in the product we're producing right now, that I'm funding, this is coming out of our pockets right now, Yeah, right. If you can help us out here, we're doing this for you for free now. To help us out, you get a better product. We can do more for you. Professor Williams here could be, who knows, man, what he could come up with, these mad scientists over there. Right? Okay, so we're going to take a break. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, exactly. And on top of that, like I said, you get a reward. I mean, that's what this whole system is for. So not only are you helping somebody and giving good karma, but you are you get something in return. And you get that mailed to you, and it's like a special surprise, something very special, coming directly from the project creator. And I would like to say for everyone out there listening, it's worth a shot to go check out Eric's project. You could press play on the video on truthfunders.com. If you click on his project and press play, you could see him as he talks a little bit about what he's working on. And you can see his cute dog in the background. You can for $25 get those Zener cards and be helping the project out. And it's all worthwhile causes. It's all things that can help contribute to changing the way this world thinks.
Yeah, Eric R. Williams. That's Eric with a CK, R. Williams, and his project is called Can Personality Similarity Effect ESP, and it's on truthfunders.com. So we're on shakeandwakeradio.com, and it's going to be replayed everywhere on YouTube and on Spreaker and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of other stations like to replay the shows as well. So let's take a little break now, a little 5-minute break, and we'll come back. We'll be adding, who's this guy?
Space Boy.
Okay. All right, let's bring on Space Boy and see what he has to say. It's all going to be about his song, and he has some other kind of projects going on as well, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll be right back.
He's a working man. Thank you, Eric.
Well, thank you, guys. I really appreciate the time, and it was very nice meeting you, Ed.
Well, Eric, why don't you hang out till after the break, and then you can give us a little summation of what you're, and then we'll say goodbye to you.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so let's take a break. Rick, play some music. Unless Rick fell asleep. You never know with Rick. There you go.
Good afternoon. This is the Harmful Agendas radio show. I'm your host, Tina Lane. I am an activist and campaigner and the founder of two Facebook groups, Vaccines, the Harmful and Deadly Truth, and Natural and Healing of Food Group. I campaign and speak out against adverse reactions to vaccinations and drugs, false accusations of shaky baby syndrome, and false imprisonment of the innocent. My interests lie in natural foods and natural healing. So join us for Harmful Agendas, Tuesdays, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Pacific. We look forward to hearing from you on the Shake and Wake Radio Network at shakeandwakeradio.com.
All righty, guys and gals, get ready to shake and wake to the truth with Rick and Eddie live from the Sunshine State.
Deal with it.
You deal with it. This is an all-points bulletin. Be on the lookout for the couple known as Rick and Eddie.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind, for your mind.
You're listening to the Shake and Wake Radio Network, where the truth is all that matters, and the truth will make you free, will make you free, will make you free, will make you free. ShakeandWakeRadio.com.
In a world conceptually, you need real men like Ed Opperman exposing the truth. And now back to the Opperman Report.
Okay, well, welcome back to the Opperman Report. You know, that was a nice long break with a guitar solo. Okay, I think it was the first break I've ever had with a guitar solo. But we're here with Mark Schwartz from Funders.com and Professor, is it okay to call you Professor Eric Williams?
Or just Eric.
Eric. We're here with Eric Williams from his project is called, what is this thing? Can Personality Similarity Effect ESP. So, Eric, before you leave us, why don't you give us a pitch, man? Give a plea out there to donate.
Okay. If you donate, you're contributing towards trying to isolate a variable that might increase the chance that we can discover how people could communicate to each other without using one of our five senses. This ESP would be a sixth sense, and I believe it exists. I believe it's going to be hard work to dig it out, but we will figure it out. And this project is a foundational, basic science attempt to get started. So I do hope you go take a look at the page and the video and give it your consideration.
Okay, brother.
And I'd add on that, you know, if you go check it out, just view it, and then also, you know, if you can't donate, share it. Share his project with as many people as possible. That's free.
That would be great.
That's easy, and you can make a difference just by doing that.
You know, that's a good point. You don't actually have to donate. You can just share it and promote it and help people out. So that's great. So, Eric Williams, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going to be bringing in. Thank you, sir. And I'll be sure to mention this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Now, let's see if we can pull in good old Space Boy here.
All right. Awesome. I think he's on standby. He said he was on standby. So, Space Boy, I'll give a little intro while you guys pull him in.
Oh, there you go.
He is, he lives out in Texas. He is a musician, and his music is really, it's inspirational. You know, when I first started listening to it, I was a little like, well, what is this? And then all it took me was once, and then I listened to it again, and I listened to like the full album, and I was hooked. And it's one of those albums where you can listen to it when you wake up in the morning and get excited for the day, and you can also listen to it when you go to sleep or if you're trying to meditate or anything like that. Space Boy is well known for creating the intro music to Jimmy Church's Fade to Black show, and he's also created the intro music for Future Theater with Bill and Nancy Burns. So he's sort of well known in the paranormal community for making some of the most incredible original bumper music on some of the hot shows, and his music just, I mean, it speaks for itself. And what he's done is,
well, I think we have him with us now. His name is James Guerrero, great. And I'm going to hit him up with some free work too, man. Hey, James, are you there?
Hey,
I surely am. How are you?
You'd have to donate.
Okay, well, I'll work something out with him. James, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Opperman Report. We're on with Mark Schwartz from TruthFunders.com, and we've been talking about your project here, the Space Boy. Tell us what you got going on.
Well, basically, I guess we have to start from the beginning where I had heard Mark on Fade to Black promoting Truth Funders. So, like any curious person, I got online, checked his site out, and I really digged what I saw. And then I thought, well, I wish there was some way I could contribute a project of my own, but I didn't really have any idea. So I got with Mark, and Mark and I kind of went back and forth, spitballed some ideas together. And what you see is what you get, is that I came up with the idea of doing a song specifically for TruthFunders.com, and it's called Dragonfly. And well, I'm sure Mark can contest to this that it's quite the anthem, and it's a great song. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but since I'm saying it, yes, it is a great song. So
it is, and Dragonfly. So our logo is the dragonfly at Truth Funders. And the story behind that is the first meeting that I had with my business partner. He was, at one point, he was one of the VPs over at AOL Time Warner. During that big merger that happened. And he wound up leaving AOL Time Warner and starting his own business. And he started a couple businesses and sold some businesses and whatnot. And so when I first called him and told him about the idea of Truth Funders, I've spoken with him in the past about other technology projects to potentially partner with him on. And they had a lot of overhead. Sometimes things didn't work out. We did some investigation. It would cost a lot, so much money to do one thing, and so I've had this contact with him for 2 or 3 years, and we always spitball ideas. And this idea for Truth Funders came to me, and it was like I said, do I dare approach him with this? Will he think I'm crazy? A niche market crowdfunding platform specifically for the paranormal, so that we can build this community. I called him. I said, "What the heck? What do I have to lose?" And I called him and told him about the idea, and he said, "Let me call you back." And I said, "Okay, great. He's going to think I'm nuts." And then within 15 minutes later, or 30 minutes later, one of those, I got a phone call back from him, and he said, "Let's do it." And I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah." He told me that when he worked at AOL, the number one thing that people clicked on by millions, more than anything else, more than news, more than AOL chat, was horoscopes. People clicked on horoscopes. So he knew that there was this market out there for it. He didn't understand how big this market has become over the past few years, with ghost hunters, with chasing Bigfoot, with all these different shows that are on. I mean, the paranormal is starting to become normal. So I was, I had to come up with this business plan. We meet together in a coffee shop. And I'm showing him sort of a breakdown of costs, of what's going to cost what we will need. And I'm also showing him a little bit about the paranormal world. Who's who hosts what shows, what networks are out there, who can we talk to, who can we partner with, all these different things. And as he says, I'm showing him this, he has to get up and use the restroom. So he goes to go use the bathroom, and I kid you not, I'm in the middle of this coffee shop. It's closed doors. I mean, there's nothing in there. Suddenly a dragonfly comes. A dragonfly comes right to my computer screen in his seat where he was sitting, and just is hovering there. It just sits there and hovers and is staring at my business plan for Truth Funders directly, at the computer screen. And I tripped out a little bit because it was sort of like a metaphoric moment. I didn't know if the dragonfly was, of course, the first thing that pops in my head is this some sort of spy drone? But I shrugged that off because I always try to look for the reality of the situation, and it was probably just a normal dragonfly that somehow came in. But that dragonfly right there just represented so much to me, metamorphosis and mystery and excitement and, all the things a dragonfly can represent. And so that became our logo. And so when I started working with Space Boy, he came up with the idea for the song Dragonfly. And that was all his idea and his inspiration. And so that was just something I thought was just flippin' cool.
Is there any way you can play the song for us, James?
I can't on my end. I don't have that set up on my end.
Okay.
But, as I tell everybody, why try to play it on the radio when you can get it at truthfunders.com? With a simple donation of $5, you get that plus an extra Space Boy song.
Ah, very nice. Okay, and you've worked for the Pet Shop Boys, Kraftwerk, Art of Noise. So you've been out there doing a lot of music, right?
Well, I've not worked with them. They're some of my inspirations that have inspired. Yeah, but I mean, when you listen to some of my music, you can hear the vein of those artists within my music. I've always said my music is kind of a hybrid synth pop. of music, just combining of those artists that I've enjoyed as a kid growing up, and then combining a lot of today's electronic music and going from there. The interesting story, you know how Mark was just explaining his Dragonfly story, is that how I came up with the song was really quite funny, because I was, thinking, what can I do? What can I create? How am I going to write this song? And one night I was listening to a clock, tick in the background, and it struck midnight. And I don't know if you've got a grandfather clock or if you've ever heard one. I'm sure you have. But as it struck, everything just kind of fell in sync with me for this song. And I said, that's what this song really needs, is something grandioso, something that promotes hope and optimistic. And so basically the song was inspired by a grandfather clock. And I really wish I could play it right now for you, but when you do hear it, you'll definitely hear that.
If you send it to my wife.
Well, but the thing is, I think that they want to get the $5 before anybody hears it.
No, I'm saying we can play it over the air in stereo quality. Mm-hmm. I'm a singer-songwriter myself. This is Rick Champagne,
co-host,
one of the founders of Shake and Wake Radio. And want to hear something bizarre really quick? Being we're like in the second hour or whatever. About 10 years ago, after I had seen UFOs and had the 11/11 experience, if anybody knows what that's like, when you look at a clock and it says 11/11 or 3:33 or 2:22 or...
Sure.
I felt like something was trying to wake me up to some sort of truth, and I felt like I was going nuts. Like something outside of myself is trying to wake me up to what's going on and everything. And I was telling people, disaster and something huge is going to come. And I've been a singer-songwriter, and I had been working on an album exposing that the media is all about sex and it's all about manipulation. And the name of my album my band was called Real Lives, and the name of my album was I called it Dysfunctional Paradise. And we had a picture of the globe with a light above it. And at this time, I was not awake to the New World Order. I hadn't moved to Florida yet. I woke up in 2008 while we were in Florida, around the time Barry Soetoro both ways got elected. And that's about the time that we woke up. But this was way before God was trying to wake me up. Angels or something was trying to tell me something's wrong. You need to wake up. You need to look. And prior to us moving to Florida, being awake, listening to Patriot Radio and getting involved and then becoming host and then running a network, way before this, about 10 years ago, a song came into my head one night. And what the lyrics in the melody said to write down and sing was this. Now check this out. You ready? What if life as we know it all ceased to be? No cell phones or computers, no electricity, no television, no more gasoline. What if life as we know it all ceased to be? Ba-dum, dun, 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 dun.
Okay, Rick.
In other words, think about that, though.
Okay.
In other words, before I woke up to the New World Order, something out there was talking to me to tell people to wake up, that this whole thing's going to collapse. What if life as we know it all ceased to be? No cell phones and computers, no electricity, no television, no gasoline. I know what this guy
Rick,
is saying.
Okay, great. You ought to do a show about that, Rick. Maybe you can do one tomorrow, okay? So let's, because we got to finish up. I have another guest calling in soon.
Yeah,
okay?
well, I just wanted to mention.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention that he's a singer-songwriter, and we know the inspiration comes from other places, and Are you upset that?
No, I'm not upset.
I wanted to toss that out there because what do you
Rick.
think was telling me to warn people that something's coming up the pike, trying to wake me up and all? Like, was that not relative?
No, I think that everybody gets their inspiration, from all different sources, and I think that's great.
I'm sorry
and
for
I think
interrupting,
that's
Ed.
what...
It'll be the last time.
Thanks, man.
Ed, it'll be the last time.
All right, brother.
No
Good night.
problem.
Okay.
Okay, you want me to just log off right now?
Yeah, I think we
Do you
better.
want me to log off this show right now?
Okay, we can finish this up and play it on YouTube. Okay, we don't need this. Okay, so back to the show. Okay. Sorry, guys.
No problem. No problem at all. It's a lot of fun. So, but yeah, Space Boys music
inspired
is...
to write a new song.
Yeah, it's really incredible. I actually I donated to Space Boys campaign. I mean, anybody who writes a song, and especially, it's so cool because when I first talked to him, I reached out to him through Twitter. And I said, hey, I know that, you wrote the song Fade to Black. You should do something on Truth Funders. And I think, a lot of people out there probably feel the same way, Space Boy, but, you had that thought like, oh yeah, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I have any project that I could do or how this really works. But.
Well, let me ask you this. Besides Fade to Black, have you done any other, radio shows? The intro.
Well, I've donated music to Bill and Nancy Burns for Future Theater, which I gave them one of my cuts off my most recent release, Intellectual Love, and they played that song, and some of my other music's been played on Skywatchers on the Dark Matter Radio Network with Angel.
Okay.
And so it's just good stuff here.
It is, and it's really cool because it's sort of like he's Space Boy's marketing himself by being on Truth Funders. It's a win-win because more people get to know him, more people get to know his music, and it goes beyond just the intros of these shows that people enjoy. It goes into, actually listening to his stuff. Like I always heard the intros to these shows that I really like and I listen to. And when I got his album and was listening to that, I mean, I was blown away that it was so good. And the first night I laid in bed and I listened to it. I almost couldn't fall asleep because it was so good and I wanted to keep going. But it also, put me in sort of like a meditative place where I needed to be to fall asleep. And then I listened to it when I woke up in the morning. And it's one of these things that it's just really incredible. Here's an artist and he is sort of involved in the paranormal world and likes the paranormal. And he can take his music and express that, and he's gone even further with it and tried to help us by, he has his own fans that listen to his albums. He has several albums, that have been produced and are out there. And so now his fans are learning about Truth Funders as well. So it's really cool. And on top of that, Space Boy has, as far as percentages go, he has the top percentage so far of a project that we've had. We've only been out there and live for people to use for a month and a half, but he's an example of someone who goes out there and he tweets every day, and he sent out a really wonderful email letter that I received yesterday because I had donated, and he's interactive with the people that donate. And that's the thing is like, someone donates $5 and they get his song and another song and they like what they listen to. And so it's like, well, why don't I just, his other rewards are like 2 of his albums or 3 of his albums for like $25, $30, you're helping support an artist. You're helping support an idea of truth funders and funding the truth and opening the consciousness to the paranormal. And you're getting jams. I mean, you're getting stuff to listen to and really get into your own headspace. And so it's just been really, really cool. And his effort just shows because he is at 49. We're getting close to the end of the campaign, probably about halfway through, but he's at 49%. I mean, he's 50% funded at this point. So it's really neat to see that happening. And for anybody out there listening, I really, really recommend you downloading it. And then if you become a fan of Spaceboy, go ahead and share it with the world too, and like him on Facebook. I mean, his stuff is great. And yeah, what's been your process, or how have you enjoyed this process of crowdfunding? Is it different than what you thought it would be? What are your sort of overall thoughts and expectations, Spaceboy?
Well, it's basically like a second job, basically. I'm not going to lie to you. But, it's like this, Mark. One, that I believe in the subject matter. I've always liked it ever since I was a kid, picked up books along the way, just read, did this and did that. Of course, I had parents that were like, don't quit your day job. So, I've worked hard at day, but at night I've, dabbled into the paranormal and just to keep that spirit alive. And what it comes down to is when you believe in something, you'll do anything to nurture that and to make it work. Spaceboy I'm on my 17th release now. I started Spaceboy back in March of 1999, and I've released my 17th CD release recently. And, you just don't do that if you don't like it. I mean, and the same applies to Truth Funders. I really enjoyed what I saw, and I believed in a product. And so my success in Truth Funders, it translates into where I'm at because I believe. And I get out there and I market it through Facebook. I market it through Twitter. I involve my followers. I call my followers Space Cadets. And so I enable my Space Cadets to say, hey man, help me out, retweet this. I don't try to shove it down their throat. I try to, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'd appreciate, if you like my music and you like me, then, check the site out and spread the word, send a transmission through the universe and let everybody know that Spaceboy supports Truth Funders. And it just all comes down to when you believe in something, it'll work out.
Okay, great. We're down to like the last 2 minutes, guys. So why don't you give you a last pitch, and then we'll bring on a Native Cry, kind of a change of pace. We're going to be talking about the Native Americans and suicide prevention, suicide hotline. But let's see if we can pull that one off. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, why don't you go first, Spaceboy? Yeah, go ahead and plug away.
Basically, I'm telling you that you should really check out truthfunders.com. It's a great place for crowdsourcing for the paranormal. In my area, you'll find that by a simple donation of $5, you get the song that I've specifically written exclusively for truthfunders.com called Dragonfly. And with that, I'll toss in an extra bonus song from Spaceboy off my recent CD. And the dollars amount, if you want to spend a little bit more, for 10, you can get 4 of my own personal songs, along with the Dragonfly song. But the highest amount that I have on my project is $60. And with that, you get 5 Spaceboy albums, the Dragonfly song, and that's quite a deal. I'm not trying to make a lot of money off my CDs, but once you start listening to them, I believe that you're going to get hooked. It's unique, as I've been told, and Mark was just saying the other day he really digs my stuff, and so I how can I not promote Truth Funders if a guy likes my stuff? It's kind of a symbiotic relationship. So basically, just tell your people that, hey, Truth Funders, it's the way to crowdsource the paranormal.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, and I love the Jimmy Church intro, so thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. And hey, Ed, if you want to get with me, wink, wink.
Yeah, I think I do, man. I know we might be needing some changes. I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
And one thing I like to say too, before I say my final piece, is that the people creating projects on Truth Funders are also donated. They're starting to cross donate. So it's really cool. Like if we have, if like Eric supported Spaceboy and donated $5 to his cause. So if we start building this type of community where people are creating projects and people are donating to other people's projects, just even within the site, I mean, that helps. That helps a little bit, inch it forward and make it happen. But that's exactly what we want to do. We want this type of community where people can do that and have the ability and not feel so down like, oh, the whole world is against me. I'll never be able to do this. Like, no, this is your chance to create something if you've had it on your mind, or this is your chance to be a part of something and donate to it. I would like to say I would like to thank you so much, Ed, for this opportunity to come on your show. It's truly wonderful. I'm so excited. I really want people to donate to your stuff as well, because you have a much higher donation level, but it's totally worth it, and people will be getting that IMDb credit and all these things.
Yeah, and we just need a little bit of money to start coming in. Just get the ball rolling, But just boy, there's so much opportunity here with this, all these topics we have to cover, and all the access that I have. I'd hate to see it go to waste. And I know people but Mark Schwartz from TruthFunders.com and Spaceboy, God bless you both. Thank you both for coming on tonight. Next, we're going to be having Native Cry. Reina Palone Madero. So, guys, thank you very much, and we'll keep in touch, all right?
Thanks so much. Have a great night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, now coming up, we're going to have